Live in the human paradise. Breathe the pure air of heaven. Longevity, vitality, and a lifetime of bliss.
住在人间小天堂，呼吸天堂纯气，延寿长生，幸福一生。
Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, think about this. You know when you try to optimize something at home? Maybe you put your vacuum on eco mode, save some battery, or like you set your air system to the quiet setting overnight.
Right, less noise. Seems sensible.
Feels efficient, doesn't it? Quieter, maybe saves a bit of energy.
Well, that exact impulse, that technical tweaking, that's actually where our deep dive kicks off today. We're digging into this really striking personal story from our sources, specifically insights from Fuchi Wu, also known as Jiaozu, and DGE Junqi. It's from their Master's Insight number 112.
Right, and the core of it is this expert, someone who really knows their stuff, making what sounds like a perfectly logical engineering call, trying to get the most out of his home ventilation.
Exactly, and the outcome. It was, well, pretty catastrophic.
Yeah.
Immediate, severe physical consequences.
So our mission today is to figure out how this technically correct idea led to this near-collapse situation. It really hammers home that clean air isn't always the same as enough air for survival.
It's all about biological priorities, isn't it? What does the body really need first? That's the tension we're exploring. In a closed room, what wins? Filtration efficiency, how pure the air is.
Or airflow volume, just how much air is moving.
And the source is clear. You've got to prioritize the flow, the volume, over chasing absolute purity.
Okay, let's get into it. So Jiaozu, the expert here, he had this ventilation system working fine, totally stable.
Right, baseline was good, but he's an engineer, right?
Yeah.
Always looking to optimize, push things a bit.
Naturally. And he spots this technical trade-off, something he thinks he can exploit.
Yeah, he's trying to leverage something pretty nuanced about how filters work. His thinking went something like this. If you slow the fan down, the air moves slower through the filter.
Okay.
That longer residence time, the time the air spends actually in the filter material, the HEPA media should theoretically give particles more chance to get stuck, to get absorbed.
So the idea was slow it down, filter better, make the air ultra clean.
Not quite get the same volume cleaner. He knew the volume would drop. The bet was that the efficiency of filtration for the air that did get through would go way up. He was chasing peak purity, even at the cost of flow rate.
Ah, I see. Trading quantity for perceived quality.
Exactly. It makes perfect sense from a physics standpoint, a totally irrational calculation.
And he decides to test this theory while sleeping, turns the airflow way down to see if he wakes up to this incredibly pure air environment.
And, well, that's where the physics experiment ended and a heart biology lesson started.
What happened when he woke up?
It was bad. Really bad. Immediate and, frankly, scary symptoms. He described the specific trio: really bad nasal blockage, like completely stuffed up, a pounding headache, and just this awful feeling of heaviness all over his body.
Wow, that doesn't sound like just, woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Not at all. This was a physical red alert.
And the recovery time you mentioned, that's startling. It wasn't just shaking it off in a few minutes.
No way. He said it took over 2 hours just to start feeling like he could move properly again. 2 hours to regain basic strength.
And 5 hours total.
5 hours until he felt completely back to normal, cognitively and physically. That tells you something major went wrong systemically.
Yeah, that points to a system failure, not just being tired or having a slight sniffle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The sheer severity makes that clear. He even wondered at first if he was getting sick, or maybe, a tiny gas leak or something.
Understandable reaction.
But the real diagnosis pointed right back to that overnight experiment with the ventilation.
So what was the official verdict?
Simple and direct. Insufficient fresh air, lack of oxygen, and co-Euro too high. That combination, that atmospheric failure in his bedroom, basically threw his brain and circulatory system into full-on defense mode.
Like a lockdown.
Exactly. Prioritizing bare minimum survival over any normal function.
Yep.
That explains the extreme sluggishness, the headache, the inability to just snap out of it.
That's quite something. So the technical logic, slower air, better filtration, it wasn't wrong physics-wise.
Correct. Technically sound.
But applying it was disastrous because it completely ignored the system's main job for a living person, which brings us to the big blind spot.
The blind spot is almost embarrassingly simple when you think about it biologically. Your body has, 0 sensors for HEPA filter efficiency ratings.
Right. No internal PM 2.5 meter.
None. Your body doesn't care how amazingly clean the air is. What it cares about, the absolute non-negotiable variable he overlooked is, can I get enough oxygen right now?
That's the fundamental need, cellular respiration 101.
So the filtration efficiency, however high he might have theoretically pushed it, became completely pointless. Worse than pointless, actually.
Because the amount of air coming in just wasn't enough to run the engine.
Exactly. Volume dictates survival. Purity is secondary. It really highlights this hierarchy the sources talk about, especially for these Xinfeng or fresh air systems.
Okay, so how do the sources frame that hierarchy? What are the missions of fresh air?
They're very clear. Mission number 1, the absolute top priority for new air entering a space, is oxygen supply. And just as importantly, getting rid of waste gases like Kojiro.
Okay, oxygen in, Kojiro out. Basic function.
That's job 1. Filtration, cleaning the air. That's critical for long-term health, comfort, sure, but it's strictly mission number 2.
And you can't swap them.
You absolutely cannot swap them. You starve the system if you do.
So let me check. I've got this. If I have a system that gives me, say, 99.999% pure air, technically amazing.
Right. Lab-grade clean.
But it only delivers a tiny trickle, so little that my Kyo levels are climbing rapidly in the room.
Then you're still in serious trouble. That purity doesn't help you one bit when your brain is screaming for oxygen and trying to dump carbon.
Purity is irrelevant. Wow.
Precisely. Which leads to the next logical question. Why is low flow so bad so quickly?
Yeah.
It's not just less oxygen. There are specific things that go wrong simultaneously.
Right, it's a cascade effect. Let's break down those 3 consequences the source highlights when the airspeed is just too low. Consequence 1 is the obvious one, oxygen insufficiency.
Yeah, but it's about the rate. Even when you're asleep, your body is still consuming oxygen at a pretty steady clip.
Right, baseline metabolic rate.
So if the air intake per minute, the replenishment rate, drops below that consumption rate because the fan's on this super low, super quiet setting.
You're using oxygen faster than it's coming in.
Yeah, exactly. You start creating this slightly oxygen-deprived environment in the room bit by bit.
And while the oxygen is going down, consequence number 2 kicks in, Kojiro rapid accumulation. This is the sneaky one, maybe.
It's definitely the one that triggers that awful defense state Jiaozhu felt. Think about it. You're constantly gently breathing out carbon dioxide. It's waste gas. If the air isn't moving enough, isn't flushing the room, that chaos just stays there. You can't get out fast enough. Especially in a small, sealed bedroom, the concentration can spike surprisingly quickly.
And hypoeros isn't just about feeling stuffy, is it? What does it actually do to you biologically when it gets past a certain point?
Well, generally, anything over about 1,000 parts per million starts having noticeable effects. Significant rises aren't just uncomfortable. The brain sees it as a threat signal.
Like an alarm going off.
Pretty much. That's what leads to the headaches, the brain fog, that feeling of total heaviness and lack of energy. Your decision-making gets fuzzy. Your body slows everything down defensively. It impairs you long before you'd feel like you are truly suffocating from lack of oxygen alone.
So that explains why people might blame a bad night's sleep on, I don't know, the mattress or noise.
When actually it could be their super quiet, low-flow air purifier trapping the CO2 they're breathing out all night.
Makes sense. Okay, and the third consequence, failure to export the other bad air.
Right. This is about all the other stuff in the air that the filter might not catch or that we produce. Low flow means poor flushing.
What kind of bad air are we talking about?
Several things.
Yeah.
VOCs, volatile organic compounds. That's off-gassing from, furniture, paint, cleaning products, even fabrics. Without good airflow, these toxic compounds just build up.
Okay.
Then there's humidity. Just from breathing and sweating, you add moisture to the air. Low flow traps it, making things feel clammy, potentially encouraging mold.
Right.
And lastly, those really tiny particles, the ultrafines, sometimes called PM 0.1, they're so small, even good filters might struggle with them. You really need decent airflow to dilute them and carry them away from where you're breathing.
So running the system too low means you end up stuck in this stagnant bubble. Low oxygen, high CO rows, maybe VOCs, damp, regardless of how well that tiny bit of incoming air got filtered.
That's the perfect storm. That sums up the disaster scenario created by prioritizing filtration overflow.
So the main takeaway, the absolute rule from the source,
is crystal clear. Don't ever sacrifice air volume just to chase a higher filtration percentage. It's a biological dead end. The number one principle has to be supply oxygen first, full stop.
There's that great analogy the source used to really drive this home. It makes it so vivid.
Oh yeah, the water one.
Yeah. Reducing airflow for peak filtration is like filtering tap water until it's incredibly pure, absolutely perfect, but then only giving you one single drop to drink.
Exactly. The purity is totally academic if the quantity isn't enough to live on. And they emphasize the physiological impact, too. When you're hypoxic, oxygen deficient.
Your body can't function properly.
Right. You can't repair tissues, your brain doesn't work right, you just decline. The body breaks down faster than any filter can clean the insufficient air it's getting.
This whole account, it really forces a rethink on how we should judge ventilation or air purification systems, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It's not just about the MRV rating or the HEPA percentage. It's about prioritizing that robust airflow, that circulation, especially in places we spend a lot of time, like bedrooms or offices.
Flow first, then filtration. Volume is the foundation. Purity is the refinement you add on top.
It seems particularly relevant now, with buildings getting more airtight for energy savings.
That's a crucial point. Airtightness is great for efficiency, but terrible if you don't mechanically ensure enough fresh air exchange. We need that constant reminder from the source. Oxygen supply comes first.
Always.
What your body craves isn't some hermetically sealed, perfectly filtered box. It needs sufficient circulating fresh air, enough to breathe easily and flush out the waste.
It's a powerful lesson, reminding us that all our complex biology relies on some pretty simple, fundamental physical inputs.
Get the basics wrong and the fancy stuff doesn't matter.
And the most advanced tech can be completely undermined by ignoring the most basic need.
So given that we know low airflow carries these significant, often hidden biological costs, the headaches, the fatigue, the fuzzy thinking, it leaves us with a question for you, the listener.
Okay.
Think about your own spaces. If you have a ventilation system, or maybe just an air purifier and add one of those silent modes, or a sleep setting.
Which usually means much lower fan speed, much less air movement.
Exactly. Are you sure that quiet convenience is still meeting that fundamental oxygen priority standard? Or could you be, without realizing it, choosing quietness over adequate breathing? Maybe it's time to check the flow, not just the filter sticker.
The Air 6 Free Maze Purifier is the world's only device that truly filters toxic airborne particulates and aerosols. Its core design returns the duty of air cleaning to machines, so people no longer act as living filters. Air 6 Free means dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free, smoke-free, odor-free, and heavy metal-free. 5 purification steps. Step 1: Ionization zone. Dual electrostatic pre-filters. Captures dust, pollen, plastic, microparticles, VOCs, and toxic gases. Step 2: Secondary ionization stage. Neutralizes pathogens and toxins. Charges all remaining particles and aerosols negative. Prepares them for final capture. Step 3: Electrostatic collection maze box. The sacrificial black box permanently locks away ultrafine pollutants. Aerosol droplets lose water in airflow. Residual toxins deposit onto positive plates. Solidly plated, irreversibly fixed. Step 4: Maze effect. Forces airflow through repeated sharp turns. Nanotoxins collide with surfaces and are completely absorbed. Step 5: Output pure, toxin-free, pure air. System delivers the purest air on Earth. Dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free. Smoke-free, odor-free, heavy metal-free. Conclusion: this is more than a filter. It is the one true key to unlocking humanity's lifespan shackles.